What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. On the left side here, we have Labrynth, one of the newer decks with the transaction rollback, getting the boost from Maze of Millennia. And on the right side here, we actually have Speedroids. This deck has been seen off and on the channel. You guys know David's been playing it for a long time. I don't think the deck has gotten any new support, but just one of his fan favorite decks. I know that some players like also seeing it as well. The Castor Unicorn being pushed back to 3 now helps out the deck a little bit. Going to be a level 7. Before we dive in over to like, comment, subscribe, we are going to be seeing the Labrynth players start off with a Pot of Prosperity here. This is going to let them dig through 6 cards of their deck. Very nice. Going to be able to search for that combo piece that they end up needing here. We see a copy of Big Welcome, Rollback, 2 of the Furnitures, and then the Imperm and a Nibiru. They do choose one of the Furnitures there, and we do see a copy of Duel and Lockbird being hit down. This can be quite impactful. If they have like a level 4 in the hands, you're not going to be able to actually search, which is going to be a little bit nice for them. But they do have a Furniture that they will be able to discard to be able to set up a copy of like Welcome Labrynth or Big here. It looks like they also have another spell in the hand, which can either be a copy of like the like Foolish, or yeah, I know this guy is playing Foolish Burial Goods, which may seem a little bit interesting to you guys, but it's to get a copy of Rollback in the graveyard. We are going to be seeing them activate the effect here of the Storby Torby sending itself plus the Rollback to set the Big Welcome. Then we're going to activate the Arias sending itself to be able to set the Welcome Labrynth, which we can't activate this turn. And then we're going to activate the Welcome to summon out a copy of the Lady here. This is going to be letting us have that additional trap when we do set with the next one here. Then we're going to be drawing for turn. We're just passing on that and then drawing here. We do see a Unicorn being smashed down as the first action. There might be a chance that we do on this flip the Big Welcome here, and then if there's no response, we're going to be chaining the Lady. This is going to be able to summon back or summon out the copy of Lovely, and we are going to be setting a copy of the Dogmatic Punishment here, and we do summon out the Lovely here, bouncing back the Lady here. Then on a new trigger, we could see the effect of Unicorn being activated. It looks like we're not. We're going to be chaining Lovely as well as the Storby Torby to summon himself out here. And so now that we don't get a search for the Birth, we're going to be needing some other cards and maybe some extenders or normal summons. But we're normal summoning out the Speedroid Duke. This is not one of the best normal summons. I do know that. But we can activate a extender here, being the card Turbo. We are then going to be chaining the effect of the Rollback here, trying to copy the Big Welcome. We're already paying half our life points, then we're going to be bouncing back here, summoning with the Ariana, which can then let us search for a Kuklok. Kuklok can then activate here, which can let us then activate the Dogmatic Punishment, which can be targeting the Duke. This way, we're going to be able to do it so we can destroy both cards on the field, having them to have another extender, or as in this case, 2 extenders here. So we're essentially just using our 2 cards to go for 3 of them, but they will be able to banish to summon back out, which is quite good for us. And they do have the Tacky Tom board. They have that additional extender here, which is going to be quite brutal. Then we can go into the copy of the Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter here. This can let us get additional normal. Like, we're going to be banishing a level 7 here. Going to be revealing the Terror Top as well as the double Yo-Yo most likely here. Then we randomly do choose one. We do have some cards still in the hand, and we're not out of it at all here. And then we do get to get the double Yo-Yo, which is the better one of them both. We do have that additional normal summon with the Rubber Band Shooter here. Going to be able to summon out that double Yo-Yo, which can then reborn out a copy of the card Turbo here. Card Turbo also has an effect in the graveyard that can boost attack as well. So if we can't really beat over some of those monsters, we will be able to. We're going to go for a copy of the Agnister guy. This one I know is like when it's destroyed, or when a card on your field is destroyed while it's in the graveyard, you can banish to bounce a card, which can be quite useful, especially bouncing back a Lovely. They don't want to have that in the hand at all. So it can be quite beneficial. We are going to see them go battle phase and attack after we do activate the effect of the card Turbo to boost the attack here. Then we're going to be setting a card and just passing on it, which is most likely going to be like an Imperm or the other copy of the Speedroid trap. They're going to take a second to read the Adagnister. I know a lot of people were setting this off Dogmatic Punishment back in the day, but now there's lots of better options. We do see us activate here a copy of the Storvy, discarding itself and another copy of itself here to then set, most likely probably setting the big welcome. There's no reason for us to set a regular welcome, because we can just bounce back. Well, regular welcome will be able to set itself when we do activate the big. Then we can also add back the copy of the Kuklok here. Then we're going to be seeing them activate the effect of Lab here that they chose to set off the Storby. Then we're going to activate the effect to send. If we activate the Foolish Burial Goods here to send the copy of the transaction rollback. And we didn't add back the Kuklok here, but there might be a reason we want to be able to chain block later. We are going to be banishing the rollback here to copy the effect of Big Welcome. And then we're going to be summoning out the Lovely here. Bouncing back the Ariana. And then we will Lovely effect here. Welcome effect. Storvy effect. And then we're going to be chaining Big Welcome to bounce back the copy here of the Pegasus here. Destroying the backer, which is an Imperm. Then we do it to normal summon out the copy of Ariana. Searching for another Kuklok, even though we did forget about it, which is quite fine. We still have the Arias in the grave as well if they interact with anything. And having multiple copies of the Kuklok. Then we're Lovely's going to be resetting the Dogmatic Punishment here. And like in this case, we essentially are going to be able to just get that win. We could have searched for something else, probably a copy of Chandragolier, but at that point, like we have already everything running. We don't need to be resetting those other copies. Once we have our engine pieces, it's just like why you don't necessarily always need multiple copies of like everything in hand. Sometimes having like double Kukloks can be quite beneficial, because if they get banished or anything like that, you have that other copy in the hand. Rather than like your Story Torbies as well as Chandragoliers, like they don't really do very much other than set your big welcomes and your welcomes. But when you're already getting your welcome coming back every turn, you don't need to set an additional one. And then of course with the rollback, being able to half your life points, and like we saw them use rollback more times than we saw them use big welcome here. But rollback's really cool because it can let you copy the effect and then also have the effect of the big welcome being banished, because you haven't activated the first effect on the field yet. So going to be able to get that double interruption just feels absolutely amazing. So you can get that like double bounce or pop with Lovely and then bounce with the big welcome at the points of, halving your life points. But in this game, as we all know, very quick paced, halving your life points only really matters till they're at 0. Like we look at Dinomorphia, and like that deck is still pretty cool. Unfortunately, they don't have enough. Their biggest problem is time, and they don't have really anything to beat over stuff. But in this case, like Labrynth isn't taking like the field, just being able to destroy and pop the cards, make it so that you just go so neg on resources here. But going into game 2, we are going to be seeing the Speedroid player choosing to go first here with another special summon of the Unicorn. Once again, this time maybe having the ability to activate its effects. We do see a copy of Chandragolier in the hand of our opponent, being there. We're going to activate the copy of Unicorn, and we do chain a Arias, setting a regular welcome here. That's going to let us search for a copy of Birth. Then we can activate the Unicorn effect to peep the extra deck here, and it looks like we have the extra deck that has like all that options of like the punishment option, as well as those cards that let you be reborn. We do choose the Entis here. You know, we did see how detrimental it was in the previous game. Maybe not allowing our cards to, not wanting our cards to get popped. We do see a Speedroid wheel here. This is a Gambit card. I actually really like the roulette. You know, you roll a dice and then summon 2 of them here. I think we hit a 2. I'm not actually sure what we ended up hitting there because the dice was clear, so I won't be able to see. We do see, so it was a 3, okay. So we're going for the marble as well as the Speedroid dice. I think 3 and 4 are probably the best. Maybe 3, 5. I guess probably, yeah, 3, 4, and 5 are probably the best. Even 6 cannot be that bad, but then we're going to go for our copy of the Band Shooter. This deck is very linear, you know, going for those copies. You're going to Yo-Yo as well as the Terratop. We do roll. We see them add the copy of the Terratop to the hand. And we do see a Cosmic in the hand as well here. That we're going to be seeing the Terratop summon itself out. We do get to add the Tacky Tomborg to the hand. You know, we saw this in the Goblin deck the other day, but it is in its home territory with the Speedroid deck. You do see them go for a copy of the Duke, and then we hit them with the big welcome here. We do see them put Ash on. They're going to Ash it. And then we do get to summon out the Arias here, which is alright, but, you know, obviously not the best. We then go for a copy of Baron de Fleur. We do have Birth in the hand that can reborn out the copy of the Unicorn as well. We then go for the Cork Shooter. Cork Shooter is going to be bringing back out those 2 copies that we used to Synchro Summon with it. Which is pretty nice. You know, I remember when we were playing Metal Marsher, and then this card came out for Speedroids, and I was like, wow, this card is cracked. And we go for the level 5. Then we go for a copy of the Crystal Wing, which is going to be a big negate. And when you're looking at monsters like the Lady Labrynth, Lovely Labrynth, as well as the Arias, you know, it is quite beneficial to be able to negate those cards. And just being a once per turn is pretty nice. We don't see a double one, but we do see a copy of Unicorn being brought back out. But the Elf, or with the Birth here, we didn't choose to set the Cosmic, which is interestingly enough, but we do have a copy of Baron as well as Crystal Wing, so having that double negate there is quite nice for us. And if our opponent activates a spell, we can actually banish the Welcome and the Arias in the graveyard as well, which is absolutely just really cool. We are going to be seeing the copy of the Chandelier activating, sending a copy of Big Welcome to this. And we just see the Labrynth players scoop it up here, realizing they just don't have enough. You know, they already went essentially a -2 for just getting hit with an Ash Blossom, and that's really it for the resource game. And then obviously also going -2 once again with that copy of whatever his name is, Storby, sending that copy of Big Welcome. You know, you can potentially just bounce one of your opponent's cards, but in the case, or like I guess it would be your card there, but in the case of like, you know, you just don't have anything, it's not really going to be enough. You end up getting like very punished by that like double negates. We are going to be moving on to Game 3 with Labrynth going to be able to go first. You know, being a very powerful, disgusting deck going first, especially when you can set up those traps. Like we obviously saw that you can send them as play during your opponent's turn, but when you're able to go first, and if you just don't have those cards, you can just play regardless, like we see in Ariana here, which can then just let us search for anything that we want, depending on what combo piece you're missing. We see a search for a Storby Torby, so already having potentially other traps in the hand, or a copy of even Kuklok. I do see 2 traps in the hand, so it's interesting that we did not choose to go for the Kuklok, but I suppose if we already have a copy of Arias, then obviously we will be able to just go for that regardless here. Actually, we see Storby Torby discarding the copy of rollback here. So that might be the traps there. Therefore, you just do not want to have that copy of Kuklok. So now we're going to be seeing them set 2 cards, or set 1 card, 1 trap, and then summon out the lady here. So yeah, you definitely do not want to add the Kuklok there if your cards are going to be just essentially bad like that. We see Big Welcome here, hit with a bell. There might be a chance you activate rollback here. You're going to see Unicorn being summoned out once again here. I feel like you do just activate, pay half your life points here to summon out the Lovely. And then bounce back. Probably the Lady, yeah. And then Lovely as well as Ariana effect going to activate there. And of course the copy of the Storby. We don't actually special summon here, but they have another copy of Unicorn. That's crazy. We could just bounce this. No, you definitely don't bounce it because I think it's summoned back again. I was going to say there's no point of doing that. We do summon out the Lovely or the Lady here, so maybe you're wanting to use that trap. They are thinking on this. I don't know what that trap could potentially be. It'd be really funny if they had a Birth in the hand already. So they are going to activate Daruma Cannon to flip it face down. And they do chain the Lady to this, as well as a Storby setting itself, plus a regular Welcome here. They could have set that off of the Ariana if they drew it just then, but I suppose that if they want to just set it next turn, you don't really want to activate it. Like, you already have all your combo stuff going with the Lovely as well as the Lady on the field already. We are going to be setting a D barrier here, and then we of course be set off the Storby, setting the Big Welcome most likely here. Or a copy of Lab, that also is very viable. What people also tend to forget is, like, even though you do not negate the effects of the monster that you have on the field, like, you're not going to be able to stop with debarrier them this turn, you know, being able to summon out their synchro monsters. When they pass back, you know, they're going to be able to force essentially the negate if they have a Barone and a Crystal Wing. Like, you know, you're not always thinking about, like, how can I make my opponent just pass right now? You can also, like, think about, in this case scenario, for example, like, if my opponent set up, like, good synchro monsters, they have to have an Omni Negate, or I can just make it so that they just can't activate their effects. So he's pretty much forced to make a Barone here, or else we're going to be seeing that, like, Crystal Wing is just going to be negated with that copy of D-Barrier, which is quite problematic for the deck. So, like, having to force them into making that. I think Barone's the only Omni Negate that they have, which they have a Fenrir face down, and they can't get access to Birth, which is going to make it quite difficult for them. You know, they have the Cork Shooter bringing back out those cards, but, like, they have to start, like, building up their chains, essentially, to go into that copy of a nice monster here, which, like, they can't facilitate really easily here. They do have the Kite Drake, and Kite Drake, I believe, destroys all monsters on all cards on the field other than itself. So that is a quite nice board wipe. I suppose that in this case, it's beneficial to go for that, and you get rid of the whole card on the field. But then we're going to go for the Duke, banish, summon out. Then we get to go for a copy of the Crystal Wing here. And it doesn't look too good for Lab in this case. You know, we just got essentially our whole board wiped, and I don't believe we have very much left. We have Speedroid Recovery bringing back out the copy, and they are like half life points already. That's going to be able to boost their attack. They're going to go battle phase, and then this is going to be able to attack for a game. And it's like, this is the problem with a rollback. You know, bringing them down to 4,000. If they don't have any other cards, they can just stop. You're able to push out a board like this. I completely forgot about Kite Drake, you know, being able to just destroy the entire field. But we saw how beneficial that was for them, just being able to go battle phase and attack for game. Which kind of unfortunate there, we had a lot of setup in the lab for the follow-up turn, but it is what it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I want to see more content like this. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.